On?
Yes.
Rob and Slim Show. We were talking to Jerri Williams.
Hey guys.
Hey Jerri, how you doing?
I'm doing better. I listened to the show, so all of my fears, I think, have been laid to rest. You guys have a great interview going, so
Cool, thank you.
I'm relaxing now. So
Cool.
We're good.
Okay, cool.
I said if we're jerks, you can always make our intern disappear. Like, we don't need him.
Oh, I had the guys. They were waiting outside your building. I went ahead and told them. I went and told the surveillance team they could go home, that I didn't think I would need them.
Cool.
But,
You're a retired FBI agent and an author and a podcaster, correct?
Yes, I am.
That is some awesome stuff. When did you start writing? Was it when you retired from the FBI?
No, actually, I started writing while I was still in the FBI. I actually had been on assignment in Guam, and I knew I was going to be there for a week, and I knew that I had a lot of downtime, and I had been thinking about writing this book for years. And so I took all of my research, all of my notes, everything that I had, newspaper articles and everything with me, and I used that time on assignment in Guam to outline the book. Oh. And then during my last years with the FBI and then a job that I had after that, I wrote the book.
Nice. And your book is fiction, but it's based on some real FBI cases, correct?
That's correct. This was a case. The book is based on a case that took place in Philadelphia. That's where I was assigned for 24 of the 26 years I was in the FBI. And this particular case was about an L&I, and that's licensing and inspection official. So he's the guy who heads up all of the inspectors that go out and check on businesses to make sure they're, using a code and everything is done under regulation. And so he's got a lot of power. And one of the places that he had control over were strip clubs. And there were two female FBI agents in the Philadelphia division, good friends of mine, who were working this case where they were investigating him for taking bribes and kickbacks and all kinds of things. He was receiving, free sex and money and tickets and food. And I just thought, how cool. You've got these two attractive female agents going in and out of strip clubs investigating, this kind of Harvey Weinstein kind of a guy. And I thought, this would make a great book.
Yes.
And I asked them if they were going to write a book. They said no, and I thought to myself, my story. This is the story.
Yeah. Wow. And that book is called Pay for Play, correct?
Pay to Play.
Pay to Play.
You should know that. If you're in Jersey, you should know all about Pay to Play.
Our intern does.
Our intern does, though. He actually, our intern's Lamborghini. His father is a private investigator, right?
Yeah.
And one of their gigs was to...
we had to surveil a stripper that apparently owed one of my dad's clients a lot of money, but we kind of just think he was just kind of stalking her and illegal. He was trying to get around it.
Yeah.
But my dad made that guy pay out the ass.
But I spent most of my FBI career investigating fraud.
I was going to say, it looked like
scams or schemes. Yeah.
Yes. You took down Ponzi scam, correct?
Yeah, it was one of the largest at the time. It still may be the largest charity Ponzi scheme in the country. The guy actually took in about $450 million from different charities and people who thought they were donating to charities and thinking that they were going to have their money matched. You know how your employer, if you're going to donate to a charity, sometimes you can get your employer to match it?
Yes.
Well, that's what they thought they were doing, except for the money was going to be matched by an anonymous donor. And all they needed to do was let this company and let this person hold on to their money for 6 months, and then the anonymous donor would match it. And of course, you know, kind of sounds too good to be true, right?
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was the guy running it? Was his name Madoff, Bernie?
No. This is before Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff. I hope nobody will ever reach that level, because Bernie Madoff, he was able to. His scam reached 17 billion. You know, with a loss of 10 billion.
Who was Bernie Madoff?
Oh, that guy.
What's that?
Who was he? I don't even know who Bernie Madoff was.
He ran like this giant.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You don't know who that guy
He's
is?
the biggest.
Yeah, man. He's like.
I know. I've heard of him.
He's like the Ponzi king.
Yes,
that guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, well, guess what? You know, if you want to know about Bernie Madoff, my podcast is called F.B.I. Retired Case File Review.
Yes.
And what I do is I interview retired agents about, you know, some of the biggest cases in the Bureau history. And I actually interviewed the case agent of the Ponzi scheme. And so if you want to find out right from the case agent about Madoff, then you should check it out. I'm looking to see what episode number that was, but you know, we learned things from the case agent that most people, you know, never even knew about the Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme. His name is Keith Kelly, was the name of the case agent, and that was episode 35. So I'm at tomorrow I will be posting episode 99. So
cool.
I've done, and these are all exclusively with retired FBI agents.
I saw that. I was going to ask you how you got your guests. Do you guys get like, I don't know, you know, like at a church you get like a list of all the members. Do you get that kind of a thing? Like, how do you find these retired agents that come on your show?
Some of them are colleagues, that people that I actually worked with. But the majority of them, I am a member of the Society of Former Special Agents of the FBI.
Yes.
The secret society. And they have a directory. So
yes, that's what I was wondering.
I had to find out the whatever case I'm interested in. I still have to do some legwork and trying to find out who the case agent is. But once I find out who the case agent is, then I have this directory. Okay. And as long as they're a member of the society, I can just contact them directly and say, hey, you know, want to be on my show?
Cool. That is super cool. So, and do you still have any sort of like a clearance with the FBI, like I was going to ask?
No, the clearance lasts 5 years, and I've actually been retired. This November, it will be 10 years.
Okay. Wow.
So I'm curious, you've talked to 98 case agents so far because you're doing 99. Out of those 98, who has been your favorite? Wow,
there's been some good ones. The case agent of the Poly class kidnapping murder case. Do you remember that one? That was the little girl, the 12-year-old little girl who was abducted out of her bedroom. You know, so the guy was stalking her. He broke into her house and he kidnapped her, abducted her from her bedroom, and then killed her, you know, sexually molested and killed her.
Whoa.
And the case agent who did that case was still so emotionally tied to it after so many years that he actually was brought to tears, as was I, on that episode. And it was a two-part episode. On the Poly class investigation. It was very emotional. And then just recently, a couple of weeks ago, I did another two-part episode, and this one was on the hijacking of Egypt Air 648, airplane hijacking. Yeah. And it was probably one of the more dramatic episodes I had, too. And in this one, the two case agents, you know, really give you an inside look at the minds of the hijackers as they called passengers up one at a time, shot them in the head, and threw them off the plane.
Yeah.
It's a pretty intense episode.
Yes. Wow. I heard the one where you talked to the negotiation expert. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he wasn't able to talk to me about Waco then. So we talked about hostage negotiation, and we talked about the Freeman standoff that he was involved in.
Yes.
But he actually was at Waco, and I wanted to talk to him, and he told me that he had to wait because next week a 6-part TV series starts on Waco, and they wrote that script based on his book.
Yes.
And so he said, I have to wait until I'm cleared, until we get closer. And I actually interviewed him on Monday, and I'm going to post that interview as episode 101 on February 1st.
Cool.
It's pretty good.
That sounds amazing. I was gonna ask too. Is there anything like you have to be careful about, like you've had to cut out of your show, like anything like talked about that can't be talked about?
Yeah, I'm lucky because, I was an FBI agent, gun carrying, arrest making FBI agent for 26 years. But the last 5 years of my career, I was actually the spokesperson of the Philadelphia office. So if anything happened, in the office, a search, an arrest, or anything, I was the person who went before the media and talked about it. So I learned what we could talk about, what we couldn't talk about. And so when I do these interviews, if I think an agent is saying something that, might get us in trouble, then I know, to edit that out.
Yeah, or where to steer it. Were you going to ask a question, Pete?
Oh, yeah. How long, the Waco thing, how long's it been at this point, like, since that's happened?
Was it 92?
No, the reason they're having all these shows about Waco is 25 years.
Wow.
Shit, man.
Yeah.
25 years.
That guy's David Koresh was that guy's name.
Yeah, David Koresh.
Yeah, David Koresh. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I was in high school, early high school when that went down. That's I was mentioning the other day about the trade towers, how they were hit in the 90s. What was it, 94, 95? I remember my friend's dad worked there at that time. When that went down. And he saved his secretary. She was pinned under a desk, and she would have died if he didn't save her during that attack of the trade towers.
Do you remember the big trivia about Waco? Who was at Waco that later was responsible for a major event in the United States?
Ooh.
This is a quiz.
I don't.
I'm looking at Slam.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been McVeigh? No.
Yeah.
McVeigh, really?
McVeigh.
Yeah. Timothy McVeigh. He actually, when he heard about the siege lasted for 51 days. And when he heard about it, he actually traveled he was either, I don't know where he was, Ohio, Kansas City, I don't know where he was, but he traveled from where he was living to Texas and twice during the siege. And he was so angry from what he thought was government overreach that, later on the same day of, I don't know what day he chose, why he chose that April date, but he was inspired by what happened at Waco for him to do the Oklahoma City bombing.
That's insane how this stuff kind of just feeds into each other.
Yeah, just bleeds out.
It's like a demon that jumps from one person to another.
It is.
That's a case of the crazies, it's infectious, I guess.
Yes. I feel too, Jerry, I was going to ask one of my questions. I know you're going to be a grandmother this year, correct?
Yeah, my daughter we just had this big wedding, with 9 attendants and all this fancy stuff on June of 2017. Okay. And then, a few months later, next thing I know, she's pregnant and she's going to have the baby on June of 2018. So, I'm excited, but I didn't think it was going to come this quick.
That soon.
I'm kind of young, you know.
I know. I was just gonna ask though, like as your daughter, I feel like she couldn't get away with anything growing up. Or was it rough having an FBI agent as a mother?
Not for my girls. I have twins, identical twin girls, and I can tell you that they were almost angels. You know, they both played sports. I mean, they both scored 1,000 points in college. Now they went to Shippensburg University, and they were starters in high school and in college. And so they were occupied. My son, now he was the terror.
I was gonna say, do you have a son?
He was the one, yeah. He was the one. I was thinking like, oh, how embarrassing, for having an FBI agent who has a son in jail. But it never went that far, thank goodness.
Oh, it never got there. Okay.
But we got close.
I spent a night once. It was like. It was too long, but yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Nah, he didn't even spend the night. But I will tell you that I had to visit the local police department a couple of times.
Calling a favor.
I was gonna say he was never in jail because you covered everything up.
Hey, I am not answering that question. No response from me on that one.
Can you adopt one of us? Because
hey, I'm out now. But you know what they do? They do give the retired FBI agents their credentials. So I have FBI credentials. Unfortunately, there's a big red stamp on it that says retired.
Oh.
But it's nice to have. I haven't ever had to pull it out.
I would try to commandeer a car or something. I'd be like, I'm FBI agent, retired FBI. I need your car, and I would just take somebody's car anywhere. I wouldn't care.
They gave my dad. They gave him a retired badge. He just worked as a park policeman, but they gave him a badge.
Like a park. What is it called?
Park ranger. Right?
Yeah. Park ranger.
Dude, that's a cool job.
Yeah. But they gave him like a straight up, like real nice badge and everything.
Yeah, cool. That's a great job. I had some buddies when I lived in West Virginia that were trying to get into that, and it's a hard field to get into.
Yeah.
But what they do so they give us the retired creds, but they actually take our badge. And you get a key, a 10-year, a 20, and a 25-year key, and they mount it on a beautiful plaque. So I'm looking at that right now. Wow. I have like an FBI shrine in my home office.
I would
with the FBI seal and FBI badge and all kinds of things here.
Oh, that's so cool. So cool. What was the biggest case you worked in? Was it that one you mentioned earlier?
Well, yeah, the Ponzi scheme, as far as dollar value, would probably be the most well-known. But I had a case where I actually was doing what's called business-to-business telemarketing fraud. And this is not the person who calls you, but there's actual telemarketers who prey on businesses, which is a lot more money.
Wow.
So if they can try to sell a company products that they don't need or that are extremely overpriced, if they can try to push through invoices that get paid, that's big money, millions of dollars. And so I worked a case like that, and we ended up going after 16 companies, or telemarketing fraud companies, 16 of them at the same time. We did 8 searches on one day and 8 searches on another. We had what's called a group 2 undercover, where we would pretend we had our own fictitious companies, where we would give our numbers to the telemarketing companies, and they would call into us and do their fraudulent scheme, and we were recording all of that.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty big case as far as an operation was concerned, and that was pretty fun.
Was that also the most challenging case that you had?
Yeah, because there was a lot of administrative duties. When the Bureau gives you, several, tens of thousands of dollars to do an undercover case, you have to account for every single penny.
Oh.
And also when you are recording, when you are making consensual recordings, you have to account for every single recording. You know, it's got to be logged in. You've got to have the chain of custody. And remember, in addition to being the case agent, being the administrative agent, taking care of all of this, I was also playing some of the undercover roles when they called in. So I wasn't going out, I wasn't meeting with anybody, but when they called on the phone, I had undercover roles that I played as they tried to, defraud me or to bribe me to approve fraudulent invoices for the company I allegedly worked for.
Wow, that is sharp. I like that. That's cool.
Lots of fun, big fun.
Cool. Any XFiles?
Oh.
Not that I know of. I was very, very interested in that. I tried to do my own, research or investigations, and I was never able to determine that there's any XFiles. They keep telling me no, but who knows?
What about the Jersey Devil? Do you guys know about that? 'Cause he started.
Yeah, of course. And I actually live in Jersey. I worked in Philadelphia for, all those years.
Yeah.
But I actually live in South Jersey. Where are you guys in Jersey?
South Jersey?
We're Tuckerton, about 45 minutes from Philly.
Oh, yeah. I live in Washington Township.
Okay,
yeah.
See, that's what I know, because I lived up north and I went to Rowan for a year. And when I went to Rowan, I'm like, yeah, there's a Washington Township there and in North Jersey.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, cool.
There's about 4 or 5 Washington Townships in the state of New Jersey. But yes, I am at the one right next to Rowan University.
Cool. Yeah, I failed. If you could get me a diploma, like, can you change that with your FBI clearance? Like,
I don't think so.
You can't fix me.
And for your list, yeah, I don't.
You
think
can't
I
just
can.
walk
But for
in there
your
and flash your credentials.
What were you saying, Jerry? For our listeners?
I was going to say, yeah, for your listeners, when we talk about South Jersey, we're really talking about the suburbs of Philadelphia. Because everybody who lives in South Jersey was from Philadelphia or works in Philadelphia or has some connection to Philadelphia.
I was from North Jersey, but
yeah, me too.
Yeah,
my family's from up there.
Slim, are you from here?
I'm from here. Yeah,
Slim
I'm from
is
South
a
Jersey.
native, Jerry. That's
Grew up on LBI, Long Beach Island.
He's a piney. He's a piney. No, he's not.
Piney.
Piney's
he knows about the Jersey Devil. You don't have to ask me about that. He knows all about it.
Yeah. Pineys are scary. Oh, man. I remember when I first moved here. Wait a
minute. He's a piney. Does he have teeth?
He does.
I do. I grew up on LBI, so I don't qualify myself as a piney.
When I first moved here from North Jersey, I was so depressed I didn't leave my room for like a month. I was like, what is this? This is garbage. This is not Jersey.
It's amazing how they all have like...
It's like a different country.
Yes. It's Philadelphia East.
It's part of Pennsylvania.
It is.
They even have the same accents.
But I love Philly though, so that's not an insult.
Philly is cool.
Absolutely love Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philly is cool.
It is a cool city.
Jerry, we have to wrap this up. I can't believe it flew this fast. But where can everybody find you?
Well, they can find me on my website, jerriwilliams.com. That's JERRI.Williams.com. I also have a Facebook, an author Facebook page, Jerri Williams Author. And, of course, you can find me on Twitter, Jerri Williams 1. So I hope you guys check out the podcast, FBI Retired, Case File Review. And also my book, my first book, Pay to Play, and my second book will be coming out in a couple of months called Greedy Givers.
Awesome. I was going to ask. Thank you so much, Jerry. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Take care,
Hey,
Jerry.
boys.